Money, it affects our everyday life. But how do we make more of it? Manage it. And make sure we make the most of our money. Welcome to Money Mindful, a podcast to teach and support you as you learn to manage your money.
Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of the Money Mindful podcast. I am your host, Megan Jean Smith. If you are a first-time listener, welcome. You are in for a treat. And if you are a long-time listener, thanks for being here. I actually miss you. I know that I tell you all this stuff all the time. It's not really any secret. I batch record these podcast episodes, and although you only heard from me last week, I haven't spoken to you for 4 weeks. So I get a little bit, I miss you in between episodes. I really do. It's funny, even though I'm here on my own in my office, there is something about recording these podcasts that I feel very connected to you. And I want to just be with you and have that connection. And whenever I get back into recording, I just totally reconnect with that feeling of being with you. So it's really great to be here with you today. Okay, let's talk money mindset and how to shift from a negative money mindset to a positive money mindset in an instant. And I'm going to talk to you about that more in a minute. But first, let's just establish what a money mindset actually is. My dictionary on my iMac computer, my little app I've got on here, says that mindset, it's a noun, and it's the established set of attitudes held by someone. So, for example, the region seems stuck in a medieval mindset. So, a money mindset, it's our established set of attitudes that we have around money. Okay? Now, if you're super curious and nerdy like I am and want to take this mindset work to a whole nother level, I can highly recommend getting Carol Dweck's book, Mindset. I'll put a link to it in the show notes because it's on my list of books on my website. I talk about it on there. And she talks about two types of mindset, a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. And I'll just briefly tell you a little bit about that because I think it is definitely a topic worth exploring. It relates to all areas of your life, not just money, but so applicable when it comes to money. So a growth mindset is when you have thoughts and you have a thinking like, I can try a different strategy. Is this really my best work? Or this may take some time and effort, right? Like we're in the mindset of growth. We're willing to try things out. We're willing to fail. We're willing to improve, okay? Whereas a fixed mindset, I can't do this. This work is good enough. This is too hard. Right? So it's more fixed in we don't want to improve or we just won't tackle something in the first place because we just straight up think we can't do it or we think it's too hard. Right? So in the context of this is good enough, it's not that we, have to be perfectionists, but it's that thinking when we don't want to grow or improve. And she goes into so much depth in the book Mindset. I absolutely love it. I think it is a must read for at least all teachers should read this book. And anyone who wants to grow and develop in their life, I would highly recommend this book. So it's Mindset by Carol Dweck. And I'll make sure that there is a link in the show notes on my website. That's moneymindful.com.au. It'll be /EP for episode. What episode is this? 79. So moneymindful.com.au /EP79, and you'll be able to access the show notes. Okay, so I want to tell you a story to demonstrate how to shift your mindset from negative to positive in an instant. So recently, we when I say we, I'm talking about my family. We have had this situation where suddenly our credit card was blowing out every week. And we were kind of like, what is happening? Why do we keep owing money on the credit card? And, Louis, my partner, he's changed his place of work this year. And now he's having to travel really long hours to get to work. And we have also realized that it's costing us a lot of money for him to get to work because of the price of the tolls. And, if that wasn't bad enough, if he decides to get public transport instead of going on the tolls, then it takes him 3 hours of travel time as opposed to 2 in the car. Yes, we're saving money if he catches public transport, but then he's away from home even longer than 12 hours a day, right? Like he's getting home when the kids are nearly going to bed and he's leaving before the kids are even waking up. So that is not a good situation, and it's just costing us more money. Like we were thinking, great, he's working at this amazing place in the city, closer to the city, but Sydney is just so expensive. And the amount that it's costing us for him to go there is crazy. Then, let's not mention daycare. We've got to factor that in. And you know what? We don't even live in a fancy area. And he's having to spend all this extra time in the car and away from the family for not even extra money. It's costing us more money for him to do that. Okay, now if you're starting to shut down from that story, I'm not surprised, right? It sounds pretty whiny and victim-y, and I could go on talking like that, and it's really negative, right, about our situation, but it seems legit. I'm pretty sure there'd be some of you listening right now thinking, yeah, Sydney is expensive. Oh, yeah, and those tolls, yeah, they are really expensive. Right? Now, that is one way to tell the story of our circumstances at the moment that we're experiencing with money. Okay, now here's another version of that story that I want to tell. So it's really amazing that Louis has to move to a different location every year for his work. And this year, the location that he is in is basically the center of excellence. It's got a really good reputation. He's working in this amazing workplace. It's like top of the line, cutting edge. He's learning all this new stuff when it comes to his work. He's working with people who are at the top of their field. It's really amazing. And because he's changed where he's working, unbeknownst to us, we didn't realize, but it's actually costing us a lot more money in terms of tolls and things like that. And what is so amazing about this is that because we pay attention to our money and we're so good at managing our money, it didn't take us long to notice that, we were spending more money on our credit card than we realized because we check our credit card often, right? And so what we did, because we're so good at managing our money, is that we immediately changed our budget around and we made some tweaks. So we just moved money around and we tightened things up a little bit in some area to release funds in this new area that we now need money for to cover all the costs of tolls and petrol and things like that, because he used to ride his bike to work last year. So it's a different situation, but we've really been able to adapt. And the really amazing thing is, even though he has to travel for quite a long time in the car, we live in this area that is totally surrounded by state forests and bushwalks, and there's a river nearby, and it doesn't take us too long to get to the beaches. So yes, he does have to work longer hours this year, but one of the really good things is, because we don't live closer into Sydney, is that we have all of this right on our doorstep, and every weekend we have a really beautiful time together as a family experiencing all these places in nature. Okay, can you hear the difference in those two stories? I just told you the same thing. I just told you the same information, but from a completely different mindset, right? And both of those stories are true and available for me to retell. So which story do you think I feel better telling? And which story is more interesting for you to listen to, right? Or more pleasant? So the second story, definitely for me, and I guess what I really want to illustrate to you is that the stories that we tell about our life come from the mindset or perspective. You could use the word perspective if you relate to that better, that we tell it from. And both of them are actually available to us at all times. And we have choice and agency over the story that we choose to tell. Now, I'm not suggesting that you have to be all Pollyanna, life is filled with rainbows and daisies and we never experience any negative emotion. No, I'm not suggesting that. And listen, we are not loving the result of Louis driving for long hours each day, but we like the reasons. Okay, there's a reason why that's happening, and it's temporary. So we could spend our time whinging about it and focusing on all the negative aspects of it and the money that it's costing and so forth. And I do like to give my brain space to do that, to have a bit of a whinge. But then after that, I don't want to dwell in that. And the reason is because there's no upside to it. Okay? It only brings my energy down. It makes the situation, what's the word I'm looking for? It compounds the situation. It makes me feel worse. And I do have choice to shift my mindset around it. And in actual fact, I feel so much better when I look at it from a positive mindset, when I look at it from the perspective of, wow, I am so glad that I am shit hot at managing my money, because we could have got ourselves into hot water if we hadn't picked that up straight away, right? Because we really just didn't notice at first. And suddenly it was like, oh, hang on a minute, what's happening? Why does the credit card seem to keep having money owing on it all the time? And it was because the tolls kept coming out that we just had completely not anticipated. And a few other things that have increased in price this year. But thinking about that, we caught that and that we have adjusted and that's not a problem for us anymore, feels so much better focusing on that. Okay, so what are the steps if you want to shift from negative money mindset to a positive mindset? The first step, and you don't have to do this step, but I feel better when I do this, is I let my brain have a whinge. I let out the negative, okay? I let it have its time and day to just have a little bitch about what's going on, the stuff that I don't like. I get it all out. I get it out of my system. But then I retell my story from a positive viewpoint, or if you'd rather, from the viewpoint that makes me feel better, okay? So we don't have to get all Pollyanna, like nothing bad ever happens, but we have choice over how we tell our stories in life, what mindset we choose to access. And 3 is really taking ownership that you are the author of your story, right? Like you are the one telling the story. You're telling this story. Like all these circumstances that I told you, they're really neutral. It's the meaning that we give them, right? It's the established set of attitudes that we hold, like our mindset, but we're responsible for that, okay? And step 4 is just decide. Decide what story you want to tell and then tell that story. And this is so powerful because do you have times when you realize that something happens in your life and you find yourself whining about it, but then before you know it, you've kind of told that whiny story to, half a dozen people, and then you kind of compound it and it becomes this issue that you keep talking about, right? And it doesn't feel good. Like if you really look at it, do you feel good when you whine about something all the time? Okay, so I'll just recap how to do that. So step 1 is let out all the negative, let your brain have its time, have a whinge, then retell your story from a positive point of view. All right, you're not allowed to focus or whine on the negative stuff. Step 3, take ownership that you are the author of your story. You are the one getting to tell your story, and you can tell the story however you want. It's like that little thing, when 2 people describe a situation and they both describe something different, even though they're talking about the same thing. Isn't that fascinating? But it's because you get to choose, right? So that's step 4. Decide what story you want to tell. Okay? All right. This is a powerful exercise to get out of victim mentality and shift from negative mindset to positive mindset in an instant. Oh my gosh, my dog has just walked into the room, dropped her toy on the floor, and is now scratching to get into her bed. I don't know if you can hear it, but if you can hear something, that is what's going on. Okay. So when I am not writing and recording podcasts, helping women with their money mindset, I work as a life coach. That's what I do. I work one-on-one with women, mainly creators and entrepreneurs who want to next level their lives, okay? They want to smash their limiting beliefs about themselves and money, and they want to reach their audacious goals to live an extraordinary life. So as a certified coach through the Life Coach School, when you work with me, you learn how to coach yourself so you can take these tools out of the session and into your life for the rest of your life. You get these tools for. You learn how to create juicy, exciting goals that get you out of bed in the morning, and then a proven process to actually achieve them and make them as good as done. You will learn processes to powerfully overcome overwhelm, procrastination, and self-doubt. And I help you build true self-confidence that is not linked to achievement or what other people think of you. And we also set you up with solid foundations of a healthy money mindset so you can stop under earning and create the prosperity that you really want in your life, okay? I only work with a limited amount of clients at a time because I work one-on-one. I don't do groups at this stage. So I tailor each coaching package to the individual. This is a high-touch program. So if you're listening to this podcast, I'm assuming you want to up-level your life. If you are ready for that, I'd like to invite you to have a consult with me. The consult is risk-free. It's an opportunity for you to have your first breakthrough. I take you through a simple and powerful process where you can immediately see on the call where you are now, what you're struggling with, and your main obstacles that are getting in the way of where you want to be. And then, this is the really cool part, I show you how to make it happen. Like, we map it out. All right. If I think you're a good fit for my program and we both feel like it's a total slam dunk, 2 peas in a pod kind of deal, I will offer you a spot to work with me. My program is only for women who are ready to learn how to love themselves up, be their own best friend, and powerfully create a thriving, extraordinary life beyond their imagination. If this is you, book a consult with me here today. But I want to give you a warning. If you're not ready to live your most extraordinary life, this is not for you. Okay? Only book a consult with me if you want to blow your own mind with what is possible and live an incredible life. Okay? If living a powerful, extraordinary life appeals to you, just book a consult, all right, to learn more and find out if we're a good fit. Okay, that is all I have for you today. Have a beautiful week. I cannot wait to be with you again next week. Until next time, bye-bye. Mwah.
Thanks for listening to the Money Mindful podcast. For more info, visit moneymindful.com.au. For future episodes, be sure to subscribe. And remember, the information in this podcast is of a general nature only and does not take into account your personal circumstances or goals. Please seek professional advice for your own financial needs. Remember to have fun along the way.